Sales email layouts that pair perfectly with cold calls. Calls and emails aren't competing, they're coordinated. Most outbound teams still debate phone versus email, but the teams consistently creating pipeline treat both as one motion. The inbox makes your name familiar, and the phone turns that familiarity into a real conversation. When those two don't match, prospects experience you as noise instead of a coherent outreach story. The performance gap is measurable. Sequences that combine email and phone can drive 128% higher response rates than email-only outreach. And multi-channel programs that layer in additional channels can see as much as 287% higher engagement compared to single-channel campaigns. That's not a copywriting trick, it's orchestration. So the goal isn't write better cold emails in isolation. The goal is to build email layouts that intentionally set up the cold call, rescue missed connects, and reinforce live conversations. So every touch feels like the next line in the same conversation, not a brand new pitch. Why multi-channel outbound wins in real benchmarks. Email benchmarks set expectations and show why calls still matter. Across industries, cold email funnels often average roughly 42% opens, 3% replies, and about 1% meetings booked. Other B2B analyses put typical cold outreach open rates closer to 15 to 25%, which means a big chunk of your list never even sees your message unless you earn a warm follow-up. Cold calling performance also varies, but it isn't dead. Cognism reported a 4.82% cold call to meeting rate in 2024, while broader guidance still commonly lands around 2 to 5% for typical teams, with strong reps reaching 8 to 10%. The point is simple. Calls create meetings, and emails increase the odds you actually get a conversation and convert it. If you run a sales agency, SDR agency, or an in-house SDR org, you need a shared scorecard across channels. The table below is a practical way to align expectations before you start optimizing layouts, call scripts, and sequencing rules. Design principles. Layouts built to support the phone. Your best sales email is rarely the most persuasive one. It's the one that gets read quickly and makes the next call feel expected. A Belkin study found messages under 200 words and roughly 6 to 8 sentences delivered about 42.7% opens and 6.9% replies, which is exactly why we recommend layouts that look clean on mobile and don't require scrolling to find the ask. Every email should drive one micro-commitment that matches where you are in the call cycle. Before the first dial, the job is familiarity. Recognize our name when we call. After a voicemail, the job is retrieval. Open the message I referenced. After a live conversation, the job is clarity. Confirm next steps and make it easy to forward internally. The fastest way to lose credibility is channel mismatch. One message on the phone and a totally different one in the inbox. Use the same problem statement, the same few customer outcomes, and the same vocabulary across both. So when a prospect sees your email subject referencing your call, their brain connects the dots immediately. The email layout library that pairs cleanly with cold calls. You don't need dozens of templates. You need a small library your team can execute flawlessly. In our cold calling services and cold email agency work, we see the most consistent results when teams standardize 4 daily driver layouts: a priming email before the first call, a voicemail follow-up email, a missed call, no connect email, and a call recap that lives in a thread. A priming email works because it makes your call feel less random. Keep it to 75 to 150 words, open with one real personalization line, state one problem you solve in the prospect's language, and end with a soft question that can be answered by reply. Think worth a quick look, not can we book a demo, because the call is still doing the heavy lifting at this stage. After a missed connect, You're not following up. You're giving the prospect a quick way to self-sort. Reference the missed call in the first sentence, repeat the same value line your SDR used on the phone, and ask a simple routing question like whether they're the right owner for the topic. For call recaps, thread the email instead of restarting. A tight recap turns a verbal maybe into a written next step, which is especially helpful when multiple stakeholders get pulled into the decision. If your voicemail, email, and call script don't say the same thing, prospects don't experience multi-channel, they experience mixed signals. Voicemail plus email, the highest leverage handoff. If you want one pairing that reliably lifts replies, build your workflow around voicemail to email retrieval. Gong found that leaving 1 or 2 voicemails that reference an email can increase email reply rates from 2.73% to 5.87%. That's the difference between pretty good copy and a system that produces meetings. The layout is simple. Your subject line should make the voicemail obvious. Voicemail Ray or quick VM about. The first sentence should confirm identity, and the body should mirror the voicemail's exact problem statement. The key mistake to avoid is adding extra context after the call. When the email introduces a new angle, it breaks continuity and reduces the odds the prospect connects the voicemail to the email. Keep the call to action email native. Instead of asking them to call you back, ask a yes/no question they can answer in 5 seconds, or offer a minimal next step like, should I send the 2-minute overview? When your cold callers and email writers share the same playbook, this becomes a repeatable mechanism, not a one-off lucky break. Sequencing it. How to run a 10 to 15 touch cadence without spamming. Prospects typically need 6 to 8 plus touch points before they take action, and cadences in the 12 to 16 touch range can meaningfully increase contact rates. That's why your email layouts must stay short and additive. If every message is a long reintroduction, you'll burn attention and hurt deliverability long before you reach the touches that create replies. A practical cadence standard is 10 to 15 touches across 2 to 4 weeks, where each call has a matching email objective. For example, a priming email sets up the first dial. A missed call email creates a self-serve response path. Voicemail follow-ups point back to a specific subject line, and a recap thread locks in next steps after any meaningful conversation. The operational rule is consistency. Reps shouldn't improvise structure. Whether you run an in-house SDR org or you outsource sales to an outbound sales agency, document which layout is used at each touch, what the call objective is, and what success looks like for that step. That's how you turn multi-channel from activity into predictable meetings and pipeline. Common mistakes that kill reply rates and how to fix them. The most common mistake is over-explaining. When teams paste a product overview into a cold email, they create a wall of text that busy executives won't read, especially on mobile. Treat less than 200 words as a constraint, not a suggestion, and make the first 2 lines stand on their own, because those lines determine whether the rest gets scanned at all. The second mistake is mismatched CTAs. Asking for a 15-minute demo on touch 1 while your cold calling team is still trying to validate ownership creates friction. Align CTA intensity to call stage. Early touches should confirm relevance. Mid-sequence touches can propose a short meeting window. And late-stage touches can offer specific times once intent is visible. The third mistake is treating reporting as optional. If your CRM or sequencing tool can't tell you which layout drove replies, you'll default to gut feel and endless template debates. Tag each email layout and call type. Track opens, replies, connects, and meetings separately, and run monthly template reviews like you would any other revenue process. Scaling and optimizing the system, in-house or outsourced. Once the basics are working, optimization becomes a systems problem. List quality, personalization, and deliverability matter as much as copy. Top-performing teams routinely outperform average reply rates by combining tight ICP targeting, short layouts, and multi-touch execution. Whether they're a B2B sales agency, a sales outsourcing partner, or an internal SDR function built to scale. Personalization is most effective when it's done at the layout level, not by reinventing every email. We recommend inserting 1 or 2 genuinely relevant lines at the top, a trigger, role nuance, or account initiative, while keeping the rest of the structure and CTA consistent for testing. At SalesHive, that's the philosophy behind our AI-assisted personalization approach with eMod. Preserve the framework, personalize the hook, and measure lift by layout. If you're considering an outsourced sales team, the operational advantage is speed to consistency. SalesHive is a US-based lead generation and cold calling agency that's been running integrated calling and email programs since 2016, and we've booked 100,000 plus meetings for 1,500 plus clients by combining trained SDR pods, list building services, and multi-channel execution. Whether you're comparing cold calling companies, evaluating SalesHive reviews, or simply trying to improve meetings per rep, the decision should come down to one question. Can the team run a single, unified call plus email playbook and improve it every month with data?